Good evening, everybody. Of course, I'm Carolina Hitman. Welcome to Kraken Hunters. Today we'll be reviewing a statue from Sideshow Collectibles Quarter to Deadline. Of course, if you watched any of my other videos, you know this is my favorite line that comes out of this particular company. And the statue in question today is Avarkus. As a horror fan, this has been one of my favorites in my collection, just for the look of it. But guys, you know I don't like to spend too much time on the opening. So let's get started on this review. As you guys and gals already know, I like to give a little bit of background information on any particular character that I review. And as I've already mentioned, his name is Avarkus, and he's from Sideshow Collectibles Quarter to Deadline. And in the Quarter to Dead, as I've mentioned in other videos on statues I've reviewed, there are three factions: the Bone faction, the Spirit faction, and the Flesh faction. And Avarkus is actually part of the Spirit faction. He was a greedy merchant lord during the first flush of civilization. He indulged in experiences and pleasures at the expense of others. Eventually, his subjects got tired of his ways and formed an angry mob and killed him. In the underworld, Gethsemane, the queen of the dead, shaped his body into something more fitting of his nature. Excuse me. So in the underworld, he's what's called a scourge now, and he searches for greedy souls in the underworld. Like I said before, as a horror fan, I really love the look of this statue. So what we're going to do now is we're going to focus on each little part of the statue, give you some close-ups, and I hope you enjoy it. As always with this line, I think Sideshow does a wonderful job with the paint applications. And as usual, I have no paint defects or any defects whatsoever on mine. Giving you guys a look at the head right now. So I really like the look of decadence and decay that they portrayed in Avarkus. If you guys are close up of his mouth, I love the look of his mouth with the multiple sets of teeth. Creepy looking. And as a horror fan, I really love how this looks. And in my opinion, he actually looks a little bit like the Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt, which is one of my favorite shows of all time. So when I bought this statue, that's the first thing that came to mind was the Crypt Keeper. Of course, he's holding that gold mask, which of course is not real gold, or this thing would cost a lot more. All right, and give you a look at my favorite part of the statue, and that is his intestines. And I guess that kind of represents the gluttony that he had during his mortal life. But I really like the way they got that glisten. I love all the little souls and stuff that he has in him. I'm sorry, guys, trying to keep you in focus. And I love the look, like I said, that glistening look of what intestines would look like if you pulled them out of somebody. And you can see all the little souls throughout his intestines that he has, which I thought was really well done. And of course, like I've said before, this is Sideshow's exclusive line. So they do a really good job of putting in some detail and uniqueness with each one of these statues. And this one isn't like particularly detailed or very intricate, but I don't think it has to be in order to really look good. The one thing that worried me when I first got the statue was, as you can see, his legs bend at a really weird angle. That was one of the things that concerned me when I first purchased this statue. And the weight of it is actually pretty light. It may look heavy, but it's actually a pretty light statue. So when it puts in the base, I don't think it's too much weight leaning on that one side to where it'll cause it to bend and eventually fall off. If you guys have a look at the base, which I thought they did a really good job on. I like the detailed artwork in the base. And of course, as you see, there's a light switch to where the actual base lights up, which I thought that was a pretty cool feature. I mean, they didn't really have to do that. And it goes from light to dark, like, oh, I'm gonna show you guys on the base in a second, but that's on the top of the base. But I just want to give you a good look at the artwork that they put on the base itself. And I guess it's kind of telling his Avarkus' story. Like I said, I thought it was a very well drawn out piece of this statue. Now, as you can see on the base, it actually has like burning wood and ember, which I thought, with the way the light is done, I thought it was actually pretty well done as far as the lighting and the look of burning ember on this base. I thought it was really good. Let's give you guys a good look at his legs and everything. Like I said, I really like the really good look of decay. All the way at the back. Which I think was, for me, when as far as him being skinny and looks like malnutritioned and everything, I think that's actually a take or I'm not sure if it's a punishment per se, far as him being gluttonous, and now in the underworld, he's all malnutritioned and skinny and everything. So I'm not sure if that was deliberate, but I like that. I like the cape too. I said, which is very detailed. And this one was actually one of the cheaper statues when I purchased it. I think it was only $369 when I got it. And of course, I had a coupon for 10% off because I bought an exclusive statue from Sideshow. But I thought this cape, man, was really intricate as far as all the different faces and detailed work that they put on it. I thought this was really well done, especially for a statue. I think this is one of the cheaper ones that's come out of this collection, which was surprising to me. I know he's a little bit thinner and not as detailed as some of the other ones, but considering, like I said, all the detail they put into the base, the light up feature, and the detail they put into his cape, I thought it would have cost at least about another $100 more, but I was actually pleasantly surprised. Like I said, they've done a really good job on this. But again, their Quarter of the Dead statues have been immaculate, in my opinion, and really detailed and really creative. That's for me the main thing that I've gotten from all these statues. Each one looks different. None of them look exactly the same, and each one of them highlights something different about the actual character themselves. Like I said, and that's one of the main things I appreciate about the Quarter of the Dead line, the uniqueness and creativity that the artists put into each one of these statues. Like I said, nothing looks the same. It's always different. Now I know that sometime later this year, they have different versions of Gethsemane, a bust for Zial, which hopefully I get to purchase that, the actual premium format statue pretty soon. Tax money. But they have different versions, and even those still look unique. I know they're the same character, but even those look unique and different from their previous versions. So I really like the artist's job, and I really love how they make each character look unique. Because as I've said in other videos, I get tired of the same Marvel, DC, Star Wars statues that keep coming out at Sideshow Collectibles. And I wish they would really take more chances in coming up with more creative lines. It doesn't have to just be the Quarter of the Dead. It can be other different lines that they can create. And I think people would go to them because a lot of these statues are sold out. So people are actually responding and purchasing these statues. So I really hope they take more chances. But anyways, like I said, I'm just giving you guys a quick gloss over, and I think this is a really well done statue. And I was pleasantly surprised. Sorry. So my final thoughts on this is that it is an amazing statue. Although it's not as detailed and intricate as some of the other Quarter of the Dead statues, I don't think this one has to be. And I think if they made it too intricate, it would kind of take away from his backstory with him being a greedy, hoarded lord and now being all skinny and malnutrition and decaying in the underworld. I think it would take away from that. That's just my opinion. But I really love the look of, like I said, the intestines that glisten, the way it really looks like stomach lining. That's the best way I can put it. And I think the minimalistic nature actually enhances this statue, for me anyway. I think it brings it out more. I love the light up base. I love the artwork on the base itself and the actual cloak that he wears. Like I said, I thought this would have been more expensive, and the fact that it's actually the cheapest Quarter of the Dead statue that they've released so far, it was surprising and actually a pleasant surprise. I don't know if you can pick, I know it's sold out on Sideshow's website. You may be able to pick it up from other secondhand sellers, on Facebook, on eBay. And I think you may be able to still find it for a reasonable price. I'm not sure, I haven't looked in a while. But if this really looks good to you, I'd recommend, going to eBay, maybe checking on some of the statue collector pages on Facebook. And you might be able to find one at a reasonable price. And I think it's well worth it. But guys, I really appreciate you joining me on this review. I think this is a wonderful statue, and if you have an opportunity to pick it up to add it to your collection, especially if you're a Quarter of the Dead fan, please pick this up. It's well worth it. But thanks again, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Join me next time. I'll be reviewing Kair, which is actually one of the best statues in this collection so far. But thank you for joining me. See you next time. It's Carolina Hitman from Kraken Hunters. Signing out.